Welcome everyone to Romania Unveiled with Dacre Stoker. I am Gloria Anderson and I'm going to be your host together with Dacre himself and Nora Bintila. I am a travel producer for the travel company Experience Transylvania, and my colleagues Dacre and Nora do me the honor to co-host this session with me today. Welcome, Dacre.
Thank you, Gloria. It's wonderful to be here. This is going to be sort of my 16th and onwards visit to this country. I've been coming here for 7 or 8 years and working with this company for the last few years. It's a great pleasure. And the thing I love to do is share my interest with Dracula, Vlad the Impaler, and sort of the blending of fiction and folklore and reality and superstition, as my great-granduncle did when he wrote his famous novel Dracula. So it's great to be a part of the whole show. How about introducing now Nora?
Hi, everyone. Such an honor to be here again with you, Dacre. I'm Nora. I am a local guide, a very interested and passionate historian with a particular focus on literature, and looking forward to guide you through the presentation, but also through the tour itself later this year. Hi. So we're going to start off with some highlights that are going to be part of our tour. And without further ado, I will start straight with Bran Castle, which is one of our highlights, Dracula's castle, and maybe some of the connections that can be made that Dacre will also speak about, because he's the one that has discovered quite interesting things as to why we call it Dracula's Castle. Then some wines and food that you can find in Romania, Transylvania's countryside, which is pristine, and of course, one of our highlights is UNESCO medieval citadel of Sighișoara. So those are just a few of the highlights. Have a look at the map. This is our itinerary. We start off in Bucharest, going up to Stoker Wines. I said it. And then up to Bran Castle, entering Transylvania, and we do have a visit of Brașov. On the way there, on the way to Bran Castle, we also will see Peles Castle, which you've probably heard of. Then after Brașov, Sighișoara, some time in the Transylvanian countryside, then to Sebeș, up to Corvin Castle, and then departure from Sibiu. But let's not get too deep in right now, because we're going to take it day by day and start off with day one, day of the start of the tour. Dacre?
Yeah, thank you. So Bucharest is a great place to start. Easy international access. You fly into OTP airport, and we'll manage to help you find your way to our first hotel, and we'll do an overview of some of the old part of the city. And not before too long, Nora, if there's any more details about Bucharest, you can say that now. Otherwise, I get to tell them about when we leave the town and go to Chepturi. So anything else about Bucharest in particular you want to tell them?
Just that it is a surprising city, a city of contrasts, from Baroque and eclectic buildings, as you can see the Athenaeum in the picture on the screen, to medieval buildings even. So it's something to look forward to, and Romania's capital city. So
yeah, and again, very, very convenient. We get out of Bucharest. About an hour and 15 minutes later, we're in this wine growing region where I have now an interest in a vineyard called Stoker Wines. So this will be the first time that our tours officially stop here. We've all been here individually and checked it out, and there's a very interesting wine tasting tours. But just very briefly, the Romanian wine industry, as the guy said at the beginning in the video, is very underrated. Before the fall of communism, the wines never made it out of the country. And since 1989, when it did fall, and now international export is more of a big thing, Kay Larkin, the CEO, and the other principals, we're now trying to give the rest of the world a chance to taste this wine. And we're going to be tasting the different varieties that we have there. We can, depending on weather, we'll walk in the graveyard. That's not exactly in the vineyards. and have a full tasting before we actually get back in the bus and move on. But it's, it'll be interesting. You guys will be able to see how the wines is made. I've actually got a bottle of it right here because part of the whole interest of Stoker wines is wine that tells a story. And I'm going to hold this story till a little later, the actual castle, Bran Castle, Castle Dracula, and the connections. But this is what Stoker wine is all about. Not only good wine, but wine that tells a story.
That's amazing. So, you know, some people just buy a bottle of wine as a souvenir, not a whole winery. So let's move on to day number 2 with hopefully no hangover. On day 2, we are going to head to Bran Castle, but on the way we stop at the beautiful new German Renaissance castle of Pellish, which used to be the summer residence of the royal family. And then we will get to have an exclusive priority visit of Bran Castle, the Dracula's castle itself. And the day will round up with one of my favorite lectures ever, which is Stoker on Stoker with Dacre, where he will tell us quite a bit.
Yeah, I will connect the dots between that little picture that just appeared on the left-hand side, the real castle, and the one that my son and I are pointing at. So we'll all these mysteries will be revealed when we're sitting in our wonderful hotel room and have our hotel a conference room and have a nice big screen, and we go through this discussion, presentation, and delve really into the nuts and bolts about Bram Stoker's inspirations for writing. The books he actually took information from, how events in his own life have been woven into the actual fabric of the novel. So even though he never went to Romania, I now know all the resources that he used to help him write the story in a way that many people believe he may have lived there for a while because he got it so right. But the other thing I want to say is what this company has done is this exclusive priority visit means we skip the lines. And this has become such a popular destination. Somewhere between 750,000 and 1 million people going this every year. But because of our connections, we get exclusive, get to the head of the line, so to speak, for our visit through the castle. And that actually means an awful lot. So well done, Gloria, on that one.
Thank you.
Yeah, so Bram Stoker might have never visited Transylvania, but we managed to bring his blood here, right, Dacre?
Yeah, that's right. And I think I'm the first Stoker from the bloodline to come here. And one of my favorite places is those little towns on the outskirts. Brasov is not such a little town. I'll let Nora tell you about it. And Sigishwar is one of my favorites. So not very far from Bran at all is actually Brasov. So Nora, why don't you tell them about some of the attractions in this wonderful Saxon city of Brasov?
Brasov is just simply an amazing city, beautiful energy, amazing historical buildings. There's a Dracula connection there as well because Brasov is so close to the border to what used to be Vlad the Impaler's actual land, which is Wallachia. So we do have a connection there because he allegedly had the love of his life living in Brasov, Katarina Ziegel. We're gonna see some fortified churches. I don't know if you've heard the term, but Transylvania is quite populated with these fortified churches, which is to serve as a protection place, a gathering place for the people in case of attack. More on that on the tour, of course. And after visiting also a little bit of the countryside in Viskri, for instance, which is where even King Charles himself visits. It was actually his first vacation as a king. He came to Viskri, to Transylvania, and after getting a taste of that little calm and peaceful countryside, we will be able to see Sigishwara by night. One of your favorites, Dacre, but one of my favorites for sure as well. It's like it's frozen in time up there. So this medieval citadel, which is still inhabited, a UNESCO heritage site, is simply fantastic. And during the evenings, it has like a magic sparkle all over.
And just for the record, guys, you know, you hear us talk about Dracula. We do give equal billing to Vlad Dracula the real historical Vlad Dracula III, who was born in this town, and Bram Stoker's Count Dracula. So constantly throughout the trip, we're saying, oh, this is a Vlad Dracula site. This is a Count Dracula site. Where did Bram find about Count Dracula? Where did he find about Vlad Dracula? So it's not simply one or the other. Again, like a fine wine, we blend these things together. We show the different components so that people can understand fact and fiction and how they came together.
That's right. And because we try to squeeze in as much history as we want, but at the same time, we want our guests to also do a little bit of exploring by themselves. We always also make sure that people do have a little bit of free time to be able to explore the little streets, take the pictures from all the angles that they want, do a little bit of shopping, and then we end up the day having dinner in the house where Vlad the Impaler was born, which is just an amazing place, isn't it, Dacre?
It's sort of magical to think that, way back in the late 1400s, that this guy that has now been made very popular by my great-granduncle's novel, it started here. But while we're here and talking about cobblestone streets and wonderful towns, and you see it's raining in this picture, let me just give you sort of a 1-minute version of Dacre's travel hacks, having now been here, 15 times. Number one, weather is variable. And sometimes, even though you go in the beginning of June, it could be really, really hot during the day, and it could get rainy, and it could get cool in the night. So my whole thing is layering. And it's literally from sort of men and women undershirts, and then fast, easy drying clothes that could be washed in the shower. And we'll get to that in a moment. So undershorts, undershirts, so you don't have to carry so much stuff. Now, in the perfect world, nowadays air travel is kind of crazy. And in the perfect world, you have one as large as you're allowed carry-on luggage and the small backpack. And that way you don't have to worry about a suitcase underneath. And if the suitcase goes underneath the plane, you have that chance of it gets lost. So to go against that, it's like I go with 3 outfits that can interchange, but also that I can literally wash them in the shower if I need to. You want to make sure, ladies, you do certainly have trousers, because you're going to be climbing up stairs, up towers, maybe even a ladder. So for modesty, you want a pair of trousers as well on the trip as well. We never have to get too fancy. I'm never bringing this great necktie with me. It's not that type of a trip, but you definitely want a hat of some kind to keep the sun off your face. You definitely want your sunglasses, and, possibly, as I said, a vest, a sweater, something that's lightweight and you could layer up, and certainly the raincoat. So if you think about it, don't necessarily bring one warm raincoat. You might be too hot by halfway through the day. But if you have a pullover, you have a vest, you have a raincoat, if you put them all on, you could be super warm, but then peel them off as the day goes on. And again, if you can reduce that to a carry-on and a personal item, then you're good to go and never have to worry about luggage getting lost. So that's my travel hacks, and I can tell you much more if you choose to come on the trip. We can go much more personal if you'd like to.
Absolutely. We do have a temperate continental climate here, which also, I think, leads me to our next day, because this is where we are going to be talking about a little bit of wine. Right, Dacre?
Yeah, wine and relaxation. So look, we realize every trip, you begin to get a little bit tired out. So Gloria and Nora found this wonderful place to relax. It is in the sort of Germanic part of the country, which is up in the north, where obviously the Germans rolled in. And what do Germans do? They're so efficient, they bring their own grapes with them. They bring their vineyards. And therefore you have a different type of wine up in this part of the country than you do down in the other wine growing regions. So that's what's so cool about the country. I'm back to wine for a minute, but it's also cultural. There's Hungarians, there's Germans, there's Romanians that were Italians. So it's all kind of comes in together, and their influences of superstition, folklore, cuisine, style of life, and also the grapes that are grown there. And so what happens in the industry, grapes are traded between all different places, but we get to go and have some more wine tasting. We get some really cool food, but we also do something really fun that Nora and I have started, is the evening entertainment around a bonfire and telling really legitimate folklore stories of how the whole concept of the vampire originated. And we get this from very reliable sources. These are people that really know their business. We're just not making this stuff up. And we have a fun time, as you would imagine, sitting around a campfire, Nora playing the guitar and telling scary stories that are legitimate from this part of the country.
We have so many stories like that it wouldn't make sense for us to start inventing them now. The real ones are much creepier. Yeah, so they say 6th on 7th of June we are going to be in my hometown in Sibiu, Town of a Thousand Eyes, called like that because of these particular architectural details on most of the houses in Sibiu. I think you can see them in the picture as well. Gloria is circling them, and they are a symbol of the city. I'll tell you more about that during the tour. We're also going to touch upon the story of Emily Gerard, a Scottish writer that has proven very important in Bram Stoker's writings, and she coined the term Nosferatu. Sibiu, my city, I'm so happy that you guys get to see it. It's absolutely beautiful. A bit smaller than Brasov. I don't like to make comparisons necessarily, but the fact that it is indeed a little bit smaller makes it more quaint. Here you see a picture of Dacre and I talking about theater. I think we were in front of the theater, and it's really, really nice to get to explore this the city of Sibiu with us. But also we make sure that you will have some free time on your hands. Again, amazing things to do in your free time. You can climb up the tower that you can see. You can climb up the church tower, the church where actually Vlad, there's also a tiny Vlad the Impaler connection there because one of his sons was executed there. But yeah, we'll get to that. I have so many stories.
Let me say one more quick thing. A quick thing Nora needs credit for, and there's someone else on the call, Ellie Zegan, who's been involved in this from our earlier tours when we actually come through Scotland. And thank you, Ellie, for joining us. And it's ongoing research. And, when I started doing all my research on Uncle Bram, and we found one interview that said, oh, Emily Gerard. And one book was found. Oh, Emily Gerard. Who is this Emily Gerard? And my God, in the last 5 years, between Ellie's work and Nora's work and my own work, we've really brought this very bold, groundbreaking Scottish writer who moved to this city many years ago, who provided my Uncle Bram on a platter all the information he needed about superstition. But there's more to the story, and we're not going to tell you all now, but Nora has been able to find more. Ellie has found even more where she lives in Scotland and so on. So that's what's also cool about the trip is you're part of groundbreaking research, and we're revealing this stuff to you in real time. So more on that later, but it's really neat to be a part of this.
Yeah, you could even say we brought her back to life, right?
Yep.
The lady that coined the term Nosferatu. All right, so going on to day 7, I'm pretty sure you have seen this castle before. If you've watched The Nun, for instance, or some other movies have been filmed there as well. Corvinus Castle, amazing, amazing place, 13th, 14th century. That also has a Vlad the Impaler connection, but just the sheer beauty of it actually would be enough even if we didn't have the connection that we do. Then we get to see Alba Iulia, which is like a time capsule. Actually, several different time capsules from several different eras, from the Roman Empire to the Habsburg Empire, and of course, somewhere in the background, also a little bit of the communist era. But the whole mixture, the whole blend of influences makes Alba Iulia truly a unique city. Yeah. And moving on to the last couple of things that we are going to be experiencing, besides the Gothic Hunyadi Castle, which I talked about, the Corvinus Castle, the Alba Iulia Citadel, which is a Vauban Citadel, if you've ever heard of that. And the day will end up in a fantastic Medieval Knights interactive show. Last time, may I, Dacre? I will have
Yeah,
to.
you can. You can.
Yeah, well, even Dacre partook in such a sword dance, or well, I don't want to call it a fight because it was not violent in any way, but yeah, it's a beautiful thing. We get to experience it, quite a private and special event with the medieval knights and damsels
In distress. Yeah. And then again, back to this wonderful concept of relaxation at Richau. You wouldn't expect when we go medieval and step back in time to be able to have wonderful amenities, like a wonderful pool to relax in, a padel court, a salt room for helping breathing, and so on. But we also thought it would take a step further and let you bring something back with you in addition to stories about Vlad Dracula and Count Dracula, and that is your wonderful interest in wine only goes better when you pair it with food. And when we've been to this place before, these guys really produce great food. So I said to Gloria, can you ask them if they would give us a cooking class? So if you guys would like to partake in a cooking class and then bring this recipe home and amaze all your friends and family that you not only know so much about the country, you actually produce some cool food the same way these guys do, which is, you know, very, very modern, but rustic at the same time.
It's so amazing. We still have like WhatsApp groups with former groups that have traveled with us, and sometimes they share the results of what they've been cooking, Romanian recipes, and we're always applauding them. Amazing.
Yeah, yeah. And again, we see some different type of grapes being grown in this part of the country. So you'll get you know, quite an opportunity to sample different wines, different foods along the way. But you know, it all boils down to good organization, safe planning, and great friendship that's usually are, you know, gathered throughout these kind of small trip approaches to seeing this wonderful country. So are we back to Gloria now?
Yes, thank you so much, guys, for this overview. It was fantastic, and it just opens the appetite to travel there as soon as possible. So thank you so much for presenting the itinerary day by day. And speaking of recipes, Dacre, just reminding everyone who may be connected a little bit later that we have the resource links with Dacre's favorite Romanian dishes, Dacre's food tips. We prepared a little document, a little infographic in this resource link that you can find in the chat that Nora took care of. And the resource links are also available in the calendar invite. So if you check it out, and we will also post them or we will send them to you via email after.
And let me just say this about food, guys. I've been on other trips before I started connecting with Experience Transylvania, and you go to a country like this and you're never really sure what the food is going to be like and what it's going to cost. You know, none of these trips these days are dirt cheap, and you wonder, oh, I'm going to pay this to go here, and then how much is all the food? But trust me, there are options if you've got dietary issues, you've got specific likes and dislikes, and if you have allergies. Very concerned about that. But it's really nice that this price is mostly inclusive. There are a couple of meals when you're on your own that are not included, but what better way to have an mostly inclusive trip where you know what the price is going to be and you don't have all these extra hidden add-ons that, you know, runs it up. But I have found the food is very wholesome, great vegetables, chicken and pork, but you can also get pizza. You know, you can get all the normal things, but it's not superly overly heavy. When I thought I was going to go over there, I thought, Hungarian goulash, that's all you're going to get the whole time because you're close to Hungary. I didn't know, but it's, you know, incredible wide variety. The breakfasts are like a massive buffet that, you know, I've never seen before. It's like breakfast and lunch all thrown in together. So there's more food at breakfast than you can ever eat. So food is not a problem, even if you're on a very picky diet. So trust me.
Excellent. That's great, and thank you so much for that. So let's unveil Romania together, and let's go a little bit through the practicalities now, just a bit of the tour booking and preparing facts. First of all, if we're talking about flights, we would like to, if you're interested in booking the tour with us and joining Dacre Stoker on this June tour, please just first of all book your flights after you've received the tour departure confirmation. We have a minimum participant amount, so we need to meet a minimum of participants in order to be able to confirm the tour, and this is going to happen in March. So before March, even though you've decided and you were going to book the actual land arrangements with us, please wait with booking the flight, and then book a multi-city flight in that case. And in the resource links, you will see what a multi-city actually means if you haven't booked that in that way. It's nothing exotic. It's just choosing the option called multi-city on an airline's homepage when you're booking. And all the indications on how to do that are given in this little video in the resource links that we posted in the chat. And please feel free to ask also individually if you feel unsure. We help so many participants to Dacre's tours and to other tours with tips and advice on how to book the tours, the flights, in order to make the best out of the time and of the money. We also recommend 1-day buffer prior to the tour start, and that would mean then you need to land on, or you should land on the 1st of June in Bucharest, so that you can start the day freshly and less jet lagged than if you would land, let's say, in the very early morning and join the tour directly as it starts. And also try to book a late flight back home from Sibiu, just so you make the best out of the time of that day, last day. So, and also a little bit about the hotels and meals. Thank you, Dacre, for highlighting the fact that we tried really to include everything. So you think about, oh, I'm paying this amount of money, but then everything is included. So you don't need to worry about calculating and making a budget. Of course, not all the drinks are included. With some of the meals, there will be included drinks, but not with all of them, because that's up to everyone to choose a little bit what kind of wine they like and so on. But that's the only thing that is not. And then we left 2 lunches out just for you to be able to explore on your own, just to have a little bit of own time. And then the hotels are very good standard. Very, we try always to choose the most comfortable and closest to the points of interest, and also that they have a local charm, not only the high standard. The rate per person is 3,520 euros. So that's in a share in a double occupancy, in a double room, or a twin room with the separate beds. And once again, everything is included. So transport by private bus, all hotels, all meals, except for the 2 lunches I was mentioning, the entrance fees, including the exclusive skip the line entrance fee for the castle and the private tour there. And then all the other visits and guided tours. And of course, the premium tour leadership, having Dacre Stoker as a host and sharing, imparting all this rich, exciting knowledge in the making. As you said, Dacre, it's amazing that we can actually follow your research live and see what's being uncovered as you do it, actually. And then, of course, under Nora's certified guidance, and sometimes Emily Gerard impersonation. I'm not going to reveal too much. And all the entertainment and the wine tastings, everything is included. And the best part of this presentation maybe is that we have this early bird discount. So 10% off until January 31st, booking until January 31st. So if you're thinking about it now, I think it's, yeah, you still have some time. You have about 10, 13, 12 12, 13 days to decide and to book. And then you will be able to save 355 euros. So if you book by January 31st, so that's actually a lot of money. That makes quite a part of the maybe of the airfare, or I don't know, about 5 big meals, or I don't know how you want to or covering all the drinks that you want to have, or so. So it's a good save. How to book? There is also among the resource links, you have this form that you see here depicted on the screen. So a link to that form. And then, of course, see to it that your travel insurance is in order. Pay the deposit after you've checked your travel insurance. That will come after. So the deposit is going to be invoiced from our side after, of course, you've booked via the form. And then wait for the confirmation before booking your flight. So we will need to confirm the tour departure as soon as we've met the minimum amount of participants. In the event in which we don't meet the amount of participants and we are forced to cancel the tour, of course, you will receive your deposit back. So that's the case in which we will repay the deposit, which we hope we don't have to, because we hope that we are going to make this tour happen. So yeah, the tour confirmation will happen in March. You have until the 31st of January to make the best out of the early bird discount. Actually, I'm seeing now that we have a little typo here. I mean, I wrote the deadline, the actual deadline wrongly. The 31st of January is the deadline for the early bird, but the actual deadline for booking is the end of February or the 1st of March. So if you're not making up your mind and taking advantage of the early bird, you can still book later on, but then you'll pay more, and that will be the 1st of March. So I say thank you so much for your attention, and let's unveil Romania together. Now I'm going to say goodbye